The axe has come down. We've got coaches fired, and we're here to make fun. Talk about it. Yo! What's happening, everybody? We're back. It's Too Much Fantasy Football. It's Brian. It's Brennan. It's Black Monday. It's not Black Monday, but we're talking about it. The coaches are fired. The season is over. How we doing today, man?
I'm just really upset that we didn't fire Chris Ballard. Like, out of all things possible, like, you're just like, yeah, keep him.
Yeah, we had several teams come out. The Colts being one of them, the Miami Dolphins, and the New York Giants all coming out.
The Dolphins are the worst ones out of all of them. Keeping that same GM for, 25 years and not a single playoff? It's crooked. That, I feel bad for Dolphins fans.
Yeah, it's even worse because that just seems inevitable. It's not right down there. I'm not saying McDaniel's a bad coach, but maybe he's an OC. Maybe he's an OC.
Yeah, I also think he just had, Tua's great for the first half and then disappears. It's just is it really on Mike McDaniel? I don't know.
Well, Tua may not be the only one that disappears. Talking about the post-game interview, Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, I was so professional for 2 minutes, and he was like, "No, I'm out. I'm out. I don't want to be here." Yeah.
It almost seemed like, so when I first saw the video, I saw the quote that, the tagline quote, "I'm out of here. I'm moving on. This is that." But you listen, like you said, the first part of the video, and it's like, all right, maybe it's out of context. Maybe he's not quite leaving. No, it sounds like he's ready to get out of there. It sounds like he wants to go back to Kansas City, but I don't know if they want him back.
Yeah, his contract situation is really weird. He can't get traded till after June 1st because of the dead cap. It's $36 million in dead cap. They trade him now before June 1st, then it's after June 1st. It's $12 million. But what will the Dolphins want, and will they actually get what they want? I think they'd want a first for him, and I don't think a team's going to be wanting to pay a first.
And his salary that would be remaining. It's interesting situation though. It's Tyreek one's out, he might get out, so that'll be just where he goes, how that situation falls. Do you think he's regretting taking all that money for they've won every year without him?
With Kansas City he has, no. He's definitely very excited he has all that money.
Yeah, no kidding. He's got to pay for quite a bit of that.
Name me your 3 top destinations for him, fantasy wise.
Oh,
and it makes sense. And it makes sense. Not some unreal, some realistic options that actually make sense to you.
Kansas City has to be on that list. I think it has to be. I don't know exactly how the money would work, but just as far as teams that would take him in, I feel like that's where you'd have to see him go. The Steelers. The Steelers are possibilities. They were looking for a high-profile guy. They usually don't take in the wide receivers on the back after their troublesome career. Patriots, maybe. Panthers.
I was going to say Panthers are for sure top of my list. I think that makes sense. That'd be him and Adam Thielen, 2 guys over 30. But, it makes sense. Bryce Young's look good. They need somebody kind of a shifty. They don't have that shifty guy back there. They traded him away. Exactly. It's crazy. The Chargers.
The Chargers would be, they would be up there as well.
Yeah, the Chargers make sense.
Ravens.
Yeah, I can kind of see it. Kind of crazy, but the Texans.
They're going to have to. Tank Dell, they don't have him next year. They don't have Diggs. They're going to have to add something to that room, probably in the veteran landscape. Well, folks, like we said, the Giants, the Dolphins, and the Colts are all staying put, keeping their player. We have some teams, though, to talk about. They've lost their coaches. Robert Saleh, obviously, we lost him after week 5. The Jets fired him and the GM.
Crazy.
We had Dennis Allen. He left in early November from New Orleans. He was the predecessor to Sean Payton. He just kind of fell into the job. I don't feel like they really should have gone that way, and it's lingered for several years now, so he is gone.
Yeah.
Matt Eberflus, we also saw he got fired on Black Friday from Chicago. It went from bad to worse in Chicago. There was no improvement after the coach left.
Hey, they won their last game.
Oh, they finally broke that streak. What was it, 10 straight losses to the Packers, something like that? So,
Good
for them. And now we get to the fresh ones. Okay, so Black Monday. It's a NFL holiday, if you will. You know, the day after the season, coaches get fired. We already had a handful, and I thought it was really questionable if we got to that 8 mark. I feel like 8 is usually where you see the teams go to, but a quarter of the team or the league is churned over. I didn't know if we were going to hit it this year, and sure enough, we got our 4th one before Monday even hit. Jerrod Mayo, first-year coach of the Patriots, taking over for Bill Belichick, gets the axe after he screwed up the first overall pick. They got the dub against the Bills. They fall down to, what, 4?
Yeah, they were first, and they went to 4th.
So first reactions here.
Vrabel's going to be the head coach. I don't know if you saw the storyline behind it. Basically, he honey dicked the Jets because they interviewed him, and he was basically like, "I'll go, watch me leave." Changes his Twitter profile picture, which I guess he's never active on Twitter, to him in the Patriots jersey, and then all of a sudden they fire Jerod Mayo right away, and then I think Vrabel's going to be the Patriots head coach.
I think you're right. I 100% like it's one of those situations where, like if they had the opportunity to get him last year, I think they would have. This is just, I mean, Kraft said it was an impossible situation. I think it was for Jerod Mayo to come in there. It was a bad team. It was a bad situation. They're projected for 4.5 wins. So like he hit it right there, but I also don't think it was a wrong decision. He is inept, and as far as a head coach, he's not ready.
Yeah.
We saw him blow multiple just game calls as far as out there on the field. I just don't think he's ready.
Yeah, Patriots fans were like pretty upset with him. He just didn't know how to handle himself as a head coach. Like his press conferences, like throwing his OC under the bus was just like, "What are you doing, dude? Like you're the head coach. You got to take full responsibility. You know, it's the OC's fault, but like you got to take that accountability." And like. Yeah, so I think Vrabel's going to come to town, and I mean, if you ask Titans fans, like they weren't like upset when he left. He's not the greatest at like hiring offensive and defensive coordinators.
Yeah, he's unfortunate because he gives me he's like a Mike Tomlin, and the fact that he's a player's coach, I think he can get teams to play higher than what they are. If you've got a 6-win team, I think he can get 8 or 9 wins out of you, but that's not necessarily a good thing. Because then it screws up the process as far as the draft goes. It screws up the process as far as like paying guys go, because now you're paying more than what they're probably actually worth. So it just leads to a lot of issues. It's probably going to lead to some winning seasons. I bet they start getting some 9, 10, maybe 11 win seasons, just because the Jets are in that conference in Miami. Who knows what's going to happen with them? But end of the day, I just don't know if anything substantial can happen with Vrabel.
Yeah, and I think like, and he wants full control. Like he wants to control the entire thing. And
he wants to Bill Belichick it. Yeah.
Yeah. Which I mean, like in retrospect, like everyone just remembers him shaking his head at the AJ Brown trade, which everyone also agreed with that. It wasn't just like he was the only one. Like everyone said that was a bad move, but like, I just think we don't know if he's a good drafter. We don't know that. And so like, I just think Robert Kraft, because this was a rebuild year. So like they should have stuck it out one more year with Jerod Mayo. Regardless, I know he wasn't a great coach, but like you still had to stick it out. It's still not going to be anything better.
My only thought is that he's a defensive guy, and you've got a rookie. Drake May needed somebody better, so I don't think you need to stick Drake May with Jerod Mayo for 2 years and then get him a good coach. I think they needed to turn it off, and hopefully Vrabel can find him a great OC. Maybe Clint Kubiak. I don't know what's happening down there with him in New Orleans, if the new New Orleans head coach is going to bring in a new OC. So, there's several talented guys I think that could go up there and really help Vrabel and the Patriots.
Yeah, I can see that.
Next up, we've got Doug Pederson. 3 years,
Shocker.
and he's out. Yeah, this one we saw this coming. Halfway through the season, they're like, all right, we're just saving face. They're doing the better thing for the franchise. Jacksonville.
Really surprised it wasn't after the London game. Like, honestly.
I think that's kind of where we all knew. We're like, all right, if it doesn't happen here, they're just doing it to save face. They're doing it to hold it together, so it's not just a disarray locker room. Yeah. I can't believe Balky's still there. The GM.
I mean, hey man, it's like a mini version of the Colts. Like just the owner and the GM are just like this, and he must be like the puppet for the owner, because like he just must be like a yes man situation. Because I can't see why you think Trent Baalke is this like all class GM. Like look at his past time. Like Trent, like Armstead is just like not good. I mean, I don't know. I mean, granted, Brian Thomas Jr., but that fell in their lap basically.
Yeah, 100%. That was more a screw up by other teams not taking him. Indianapolis. No, it seems like the owner for the Jacksonville Jaguars, he's got a Jerry Jones-esque mentality. It seems like he likes to have a GM, somebody he controls, somebody a puppet. But
yeah.
End of the day, they've got an interesting situation here. So if we were to rank these teams, I think I would have Jacksonville up there towards my top. The defensive coordinator for Cincinnati, he's gotten the axe as well. I'm kind of disappointed about this just because, this was great for fantasy this year. There's a reason Jamar Chase is Triple Crown winner. There's a reason Burrow was at the top as far as the quarterback goes. It's because the defense sucked something awful and forced the offense to be on the field. But
wasn't he like a head coach candidate like a couple seasons ago, after the Super Bowl?
He was. I think he's going to get snatched up. Shitty defense or not, he's still the Patrick Mahomes killer. Like, he is still the one that can go in there to Kansas City and the guy who can consistently beat Patty. So I think the guy's going to get scooped up. He also had nothing on the defense. Yeah, he had Trey Hendrickson, who did lead the league in sacks, I believe. But also, there was nothing else.
Their secondary sucked.
It was absolutely atrocious. So, you kind of explain it. So, him, it's a weird situation. I think he'll get scooped up for sure. Let's go, Indy. Let's go, Indy.
I want Robert Saleh. Please give me Saleh.
Yeah, I wish. And the last one that's I guess not the last one. We've got Ryan Grubb, first year OC for the Seahawks. He was fired as well.
Kind of shocked at this one.
Same.
I didn't think he was bad. I thought it was Geno Smith. He made the right play calls. I don't know. Maybe I need to ask more Seattle fans, but I would not look at it and be yeah, the play calling was atrocious. I can't put my finger on this one.
Yeah, I thought it was. I mean, they were, middle of the pack in some of the metrics, but as far as the passing game, they were top 10 in, multiple metrics. Geno Smith looked good again this year, for the most part. So JSN was able to break out. Yeah, DK Metcalf was a little streaky, but, we're still able to see Charbonnet. Now I think enters the problem of, I think this needs to be a two-headed monster up there because Charbonnet is too talented just to come in and, take over for injured Walker. But I think he stays in the NFL because he was the guy that came from Washington, correct?
Yes, he came from the University of Washington.
Yeah. So I imagine he stays in the NFL. I bet he gets another shot this year.
Yeah, I'd be really surprised if he doesn't.
And then the most recent firing, I can't believe it didn't happen on Monday. They held out until Tuesday, but Antonio Pierce, 1 year in, 1 year out.
And I don't get it, man. He just he was given crap. Maybe I don't know. I really think it comes down to Tom Brady once again. I think Tom Brady. There's a rumor that Tom Brady wants to pick the next head coach, and he really does want it to be Vrabel.
Which, oh God, I hope he does, just for the Raiders' sake. Not having to root for them. Brady, man. It's an interesting situation. It reminds me a lot of the Jerrod Mayo. It's kind of set up for failure. If you only gave him 1 year, I feel like they didn't really believe in the guy. If anything, it was hey, we're going to give you a shot just to see what it is. But I didn't believe in Antonio Pierce. Again, he's a player's coach. I think he's great at hyping up the team, but that's not the head coach I want.
Yeah. I mean, what are you going to do when you have Aiden O'Connell, Gardner Minshew, and Desmond Ridder as your quarterback?
100%. But we still saw the brain farts that he had out there on the field. Some of the game calls he had, some of those moments.
Punting it on fourth down instead of going for it in the Chargers game. I think it was the very first week. I remember watching that game. It was really weird. But yeah, I don't know. Let me ask you this. There's a couple coaches I think that are actually teetering being let go after the playoffs. Do you think there's some coaches that get fired if they don't do well in the playoffs?
So after the firing of Pierce, there were only two other coaches that I thought were on the hot seat that we could have lost. Obviously, we haven't lost Zach Taylor. I do believe that he needs to be fired. I am team fire Zach Taylor. I have been for years. Yep. The only other one, if there's a first round exit for this team, I think Nick Sirianni deserves to be fired.
I'm gonna throw another name out there, Mike Tomlin.
What?
Just
come on. Yeah, I'm listening.
What good does it get you always getting 10 wins and getting knocked out in the first round? You're in this repetitive cycle of always picking late in the first round. You're not, and then your offensive coordinators, Arthur Smith, You had what was the guy before him that was awful? And the guy before him was even awful.
Matt Canada.
And the guy before him, who Big Ben used to bump heads with all the time.
Oh, yeah. Again, it's these defensive coordinators, these players, coaches. They're great, but they play you above. Like, this team's not that good. The defense is great, but like Russell Wilson, Justin Fields, you had to band-aid the offense together. You have they got one wide receiver, so like, what are you really going to make? Completely get it. While at the same time, he is consistently over 500. If he was more like Mike Vrabel,
2 or something like that, something crazy like that.
Yeah, they started off incredible. They also had one of the hardest schedules in the back half of the year.
Regardless, you played playoff teams and you got dog walked every single playoff team.
Calvin Austin was your wide receiver number 1 for 3 of those weeks, though. I guess my thing is, though, the difference between him and Vrabel is Vrabel would have a 14-win season, a 13, 12-win season, and then he'd finish with 6 wins, 7 wins. Tomlin is consistently over. He's never been below 500. Yeah, he hasn't won a Super Bowl in almost 20 years, but, like, I don't know.
It's just the Steelers' way, though. They only have had 3 head coaches in their lifetime, so like,
it's impressive, I guess.
It's very impressive, honestly.
They're tied for most Super Bowls of all time.
Yeah, 6. So if you ask Steelers fans, though, they're ready to move on from Tomlin, though. Like, from what I've gauged, it's just like constantly. It's cool to get 10 wins, but then it's just this repetitive cycle getting knocked out in the first round over and over and over again, and like. You saw what Arthur Smith was doing. It's just like, dude, like, look at that play calling.
Hey, it's good enough to get him an interview with the Jets. They're talking about interviewing him for head coach right now.
Oh, God.
But Rex Ryan evidently has an interview, so it's ridiculous.
Yikes.
We've talked a good amount about Mike Vrabel as an option. Ben Johnson seems to be the belle of the ball, though, the OC of the Lions. I think the highest odds right now is for him in the Jacksonville Jaguars, which
I was think that makes sense.
I think that's if I had to rank, I guess if you had to rank the 6 spots right now, the 6 locations, how would you rank them?
I think it's
3 and 3.
1A Chicago, 1B Jacksonville, and then
New England would be 3 for me.
Yeah, because I think he wants to go to a young quarterback he can mold and work with for almost a decade and some change. So
yeah, Jacksonville would be above Chicago for me as well, but it's that division. Having to go in there with the Lions, the Vikings, the Packers, I think I would take the Jacksonville Jaguars. Having to take the AFC South, it's easy.
Yeah.
So you've got those 3, and then I think it's the tier down. You've got New Orleans, the Jets, and the Raiders. Those are the teams that, like, anybody who can get a head coaching job, they're going to go. The sought-after guys.
New rookie quarterback, you're going to have to sit there and mold him. So, yeah.
Probably going to get fired after a year because that's the way those franchises go.
Oh, yeah. Seriously. You don't stick around long enough.
So, yeah, we got Mike Vrabel, Ben Johnson, Aaron Glenn, the DC from the Lions.
Coaching job this year. I think if the Lions will finally split up. Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn will part ways.
I think so too. Cliff Kingsbury's in the mix, of course, the OC of the Commanders.
God.
I don't want it. I'm not approving it. He was bad there with the Cardinals. He was bad at Texas Tech. I was living in Lubbock during that whole shebang. He was terrible with Texas. It was great for me watching as a fan because it was passes being thrown out. These games were like 60-7. That's dope. But as a fan, no. Brian Flores, the DC for the Vikings, I think he's going to get a few chats.
A few interviews. Yeah.
He's had head coaching experience before.
I've heard some rumbles of Chicago, which like, I mean, look what happened last time he had a rookie quarterback that he bumped head with. It just didn't go well. So who knows?
Joe Brady, I think this is another Cliff Kingsbury category. No, we've tried this situation before. I think he's barely OCing it up there in Buffalo. So
you have Josh Allen as your quarterback. It's like the same situation with Peyton Manning and that offensive quarterback. Adam Gase, like when he got the head coaching job, it's like, oh, but he was the QB whisperer with Peyton Manning. It's like, no, he sucked.
Right. Tampa might lose another OC, possibly Liam Cohen. We could see this guy.
That's actually a good name. I think he should be behind like Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn. He should be behind those guys because like clearly he makes everything work. And again, like it just seemed like the same Tampa when Dave Canales left. It just seems like he just knew right away how to call plays. So.
And then one of my absolute favorites, he stepped down. He didn't coach this past year. He left, but it sounds like he's ready to come back. Give me Pete Carroll.
Bring Pete Carroll back to the NFL. There's rumors that he's looking for an interview. He might have gotten one with the Jets. If anybody's going to go in there and say, forget y'all's terrible culture, we're going to do things just my way, and he's just going to put out that energy, I think Pete Carroll might be able to pull it off.
Yeah, I don't necessarily hate it. Another name that's getting kind of thrown around, which I really don't want him to go back because he's so great at what he does now, is John Gruden. I'm feeling nicey, son. I love his Barstool steak, so I do not want him to leave. But
has it been around? Wasn't it just 1 year that he's been removed?
2 years.
Has it been 2 years? But like I thought this was like an exile for good. I thought this was an NFL cancel, and now we're doing our homework with him. BS. You want to go grab a big name head coach? You're going after John Gruden.
Yeah, I really hope he doesn't, because like I don't know, people, you should go check out his podcasts and his shows on Barstool. They're hilarious. Like he lets fans call him after bad games. So like it's just great. I thoroughly enjoy it.
And the last one I'll toss out here is Marcus Freeman, Notre Dame's head coach. There's rumors that maybe he could come out and give it a dabble in the NFL.
Oh man, college money's a lot, dude. I do college money talks way more than NFL money sometimes.
And the transition's not always there. I think there's plenty of NFL candidates. I don't know if the NFL should quite poke that tree yet.
I like him at the Notre Dame head coach. I think he does a really good job over there. I think they're gonna get smacked this weekend, but
yeah, little college playoffs. Yeah, I could see that happening. I was kind of surprised they did as well as they did.
Yeah.
All right. So last thing we'll kind of chat about here is the draft order. We do have it set for the first 18 teams. Looking at the top 10, we've got Tennessee, Cleveland, Jets, Patriots, Jags, Raiders, Jets, Carolina, the Saints, and Chicago. Yeah, you see a quarterback going to Tennessee at 1, Cleveland at 2, Giants at 3, and then the Raiders at 6.
I'm going to set a line right now. The over-under's at 3 quarterbacks taken in the first round. What are you taking? 3
or 3.5?
Yeah. I'll say 3.5. I think that you take the under, but I think 3 is.
Well, 3 makes it harder. 3 would probably take the over, I guess.
Okay, I think I'm leaning the under.
Oh man, yeah, it's bad. Just after seeing 6 go in the first 12 picks last time, it's who knows? Because all these teams, those 4 of the top 6 need it. The Jets at 7, the Saints at 9. So like we got all those 6 needy teams right there in the top 10.
I ask you again now, Ashton Genty, where are the Cowboys picking? Where are they at?
Oh, they're not picking up there. Do you think is he going there?
What's he at? They're at we'll pick 11.
Cowboys at 12.
All right, the over/under is 12. Where is he going?
I think he's going later than 12. I think he's going later.
I think if he's staring there, and they definitely needed a run game, because I think Mike McCarthy comes back to the Dallas. I just want to throw that out there. I think he comes back as a head coach.
I'm seeing, again, this is Dynasty season. The discourse gets crazy. We're looking for clicks. It's all about the bait. But I'm hearing Genty is not first-round talent picks by people that are really digging into it. I know.
Yeah,
we're not pushing.
Crazy. I don't know how everyone watches that Penn State game. Like, but look at the stats. It's like, did you not watch him drag dudes to like even get a couple yards? Like, no, you guys. And everyone's like, oh, but Scatterboo. It's like, dude, Scatterboo might not be drafted. Just want to throw that out there, guys.
I was gonna say, I've heard he's a day 3 pick.
Yeah, he's gonna be a round 6 pick.
That's what I've heard. It's like Chargers round 6. Let's go. I'm like, okay, well, don't do that to me, because I don't. I need a day 2 pick for the Chargers, so I don't have to be skeptical.
I ask you this right now: if you have a dynasty draft after the Super Bowl, where are you taking Travis Hunter?
Like a rookie draft?
Yeah.
I don't think I'm going to take him in any of my rookie drafts because of the uncertainty of just what in the world how are they going to deploy him? Is he looked at as a wide receiver, a cornerback? Like,
you have pick 110. So the tight ends, Loveland and Warren are gone. Genty, McMillan.
Let me trade out Missouri. Let me trade out, because there's going to be plenty of hype on him. I know somebody's going to overpay for it to go after him. And I'm in the camp that I'm okay if I miss out on the ceiling, if I just don't have to take the risk. So let me trade out and get equal value to the way people look at him.
All right.
I mean, look at all these hype. Look at where Bijan's price is now compared to when he first got drafted in the rookie draft. Look at Caleb Williams where he was last year compared to now. Marvin Harrison where he was to now. So let me take the hype of the rookie thing, and I'll buy him in 2-3 years when the price is more in my, my wheelhouse.
All right.
I'm a cheapo though. That's just how it works.
Cheap stink.
I mean, so out of these teams, we talked about a lot of quarterbacks going. Looking at free agency, Sam Darnold. It's Sam Darnold, Trey Lance, and Zach Wilson that are really highlighting the free agency quarterbacks here. So, I mean, do you think Lance and Wilson are going to be getting a decent shot at least competing for a job?
No, I think they'll be fighting for
25. They're both 25 years old. Sam Darnold's 27, and he finally got his chance this year.
Yeah, Zach Wilson sucks. I'm sorry. Like, there's just
Sam Darnold sucked for a long time too.
Sam Darnold was a better pedigree prospect than both of Zach Wilson and Trey Lance.
I don't know
Zach
that
Wilson's I still remember to this day. It was he's in shorts and a t-shirt and he does the rollout flick off the wrist 50-yard dot, and everyone's just like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah, do you know how many Cougars he bagged that day? I don't think Sam Darnold has actually bagged a Cougar. I've never seen his mantle, but to this point, I think Zach Wilson might have more.
Both don't drink alcohol, so.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Other big name, I guess, free agencies. We've got Aaron Jones, Najee, Chubb, Javonte, and Dobbins as running back free agents. Nobody really jumps out at me there.
Dobbins goes back to the Chargers, I think. I think he's having a good year there. I
hope not, because that means they're not taking a high-profile running back in the draft.
I still think they take a high-profile running back in the draft. I think they just take him back, though. Aaron Jones makes sense. Go back to the Vikings. They pick late. I mean, unless they run the rookie running back they like. Javonte is just going to try to find a team to take some.
Unfortunately.
Who's another name on that? Nick Chubb's. Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, heartbreaker.
Yeah, heartbreaker. And then who was the other name? We're missing one.
Najee. He's
interesting.
Yep.
He's interesting. I'm really going to be curious where he goes. Like, I'm going to throw a team out there if Genty doesn't go there, but the Cowboys. I can see the Cowboys doing
okay. That. Yeah. Yeah.
Cheaper, talented-ish.
I think we had to watch him and Dowdle fight it out.
Yeah. So.
Then as far as wide receivers, you got Diggs, Higgins, Keenan Allen, Cooper, Godwin, Deontay, D-Hop, Mike Williams, Hollywood, Slayton, and Burks.
I mean, obviously the biggest one is Higgins. Everyone's going to be very curious where Higgins goes, and
because most of the other big ones are coming off injuries. Diggs is, Godwin is
be ready. Godwin should be ready. He's a broken bone. That's not terrible, so he should be ready.
Yeah, it's just a broken bone, no big deal.
I'm just saying it's better than like the ACL, MCL,
Look at this guy, folks. He heals bones overnight, evidently. Huh.
Apparently so, but yeah.
Folks, that's going to wrap it up for the Black Monday talk. We've, of course, if we get Nick Sirianni talk or Zach Taylor, we will be dropping in an episode immediately. I promise I won't be able to hold back the excitement. But coming at you on Friday, we will be doing our fantasy awards and, of course, the wild card weekend breakdown. So don't miss that. If you're looking for more of me, it's at @too_much_Brian on Twitter, @too_much_Brian everywhere else. Brendan, where can the people find you?
You can find me on X at Jim Irsay's a clown. No, you can find me on X at FFAM BMOLK, and then also the Fantasy Football Nice Network there as well.
Yeah, he's got all the Jim Irsay hate accounts, and he will till next year too, because we're stuck with all of them for one more year.
Yeah, no kidding.
Till next time, folks. We'll see you later.